I've come to the somewhat fatalistic realization that I have a thing for married women. Let's face it, they mate like dolphins, starved for affection and no longer constrained by the ethos of the 50s when infidelity was tantamount to sin. They fornicate with abandon. Maybe they're getting back at their philandering hippie fathers and their sex-deprived mothers and reversing history, I don't know. All I know is that they come to me, without commitment, wanting only a little companionship, conversation, and cunnilingus. Then they slip into the mysterious deep of their complicated marriages, which I never ask about because I don't want to know, only to return after a flurry of salacious emails with a smile on their faces and a willingness in their hearts. They're attracted to me because I don't want a relationship with them. I don't want them to fall in love with me, and vice versa. They prefer the security of their quotidian married lives, but they love the thrill of these ephemeral trysts. Now and then I fall in love with them, and that's when it's time to leave. Catherine had that quality about her. To me, she was haloed with sex appeal, bonhomie, haunted beauty, and a full-throated loving attitude. When she was around, which was only a fraction of the week. I knew I was breaking my rule and falling in love with her when I started to miss her. My heart would sink whenever she slipped, usually in a rush, into her Range Rover and silently motored off into the night. Now, I guess I didn't want a relationship. I wanted to be able to protect my eremitic writing life. But then love goes where it will. The arrow can only follow. I vowed not to get involved like this again. But then it just happened. Catherine came along in an almost incandescent daze. At an event I was hosting, she strode up to me and introduced herself. Later she would confide that her husband had come to the dinner with her, but surrounded by fans wanting their books signed, I don't remember seeing him. We exchanged business cards. We started emailing. Then we started seeing each other. I told her I might be heading to Chile to research a novel on a pretext of writing an article as the wine columnist for Town & Country magazine. She wished she could go. Sometimes, lying in bed, her face flushed, she would straighten at the waist and say, "I'm going." "Catherine, you're not going. It involves too much." She gave me a sideways look and said with a stressed smile, "I love you, Miles." "I love you too, Catherine." She held open her hands and stared at the emptiness of them, bemoaning her fate. Her husband was a semi-famous film director worth millions. In my face, the face of her lover, she saw it all slipping through her hands like minnows. The Range Rover, the Amex Black Card, the Frank Lloyd Wright in the Hollywood Hills with the turquoise pool, the kids she was debating having that I would never consent to. It was all a fantasy, and we both knew it. What she didn't want me to say was that it was over. Me. I never said I was likable, personable, comedic, perhaps, but in fact I've always risked being unlikable. If only I could find a starting point for my journey to redemption. I'm not amoral, but some have accused me of espousing immorality in my writings. To them I say, I think we live in a complicated world where we are forced to fashion our own rules of morality as we trundle along. My goal is not to hurt anyone and not to take credit for anything I didn't do, like some perfidious producers I know. I like to be treated fairly, but know that I won't be.